welcome everybody back to Resurrected Rose Petals. Today I will be discussing predator versus prey. I know today Africans in America, I never say African Americans for that is no national identity, for we are Africans in America. But I know today it seems as if our biggest problem is ourselves. Our biggest enemy and our biggest obstacle appears to be ourselves. But it is one of our biggest problems, but that is not the biggest problem. In Antarctica, I'm hearing, or I've heard, when hunters want to catch a wolf, they take a knife with blood on it and they stick it in the snow with the handle down in the snow. And the wolf smells the scent of the blood, goes to the knife, and he licks. And he licks the knife and he licks the blood off the knife, not knowing the blood he's licking is turned into his own blood. And he licks until there's no more blood left in the wolf and he kills himself. I want to identify that in similarity to what we're dealing with as black men and women in America. For we're dealing with a design that is produced by a foe that has created something that we don't have the intellect deep enough to realize the trap that's set. Though we call it the trap, we don't understand the trap is deeper than we determined or conceived it to be. For just as that wolf, so was the nigger created. And the nigger is only something created in the mind as an idea or a thought concocted to create an educated mindset to where he can only think so far. And those who know the diameter of your thinking knows the circumference of your reactions, which has came from that quote. I'm not stealing from anyone. That has came from Farrakhan, the minister Farrakhan. And I'm borrowing that from him as far as the diameter and the circumference. For it is only a saying meaning that those who have taught you what you know can run circles around the reactions that you'll react from a giving effect or situation, because you only know what's been given to you. Your capacity of thinking is limited by the education or the thought system and the images that you've been limited to be aware of or conscious of. So just as that wolf that licks until he commits suicide, not knowing he's shedding his own blood on the knife that is protruding from the snow, so is the Negro here in America. And the trap is sprung and is waiting on us to fall. We must educate ourselves and be tired of this foolishness. We must become sick and tired of being tired to where we want to know other than what's being taught to us. Because what has been given to us as an education system, this education system is foolishness. And we have to strive to go back to our origins, go back to our ancestors and research where these things have been copied from, whether it be religiously or historically, and figure out why we are falling for these traps. I am seriously tired. I'm a young man that at 43 years old has spent 10 years of my life in prison. I've walked the yards of the prisons, so tired watching my brothers suffer through all type of different self-destructive ailments, knife fights, stabbing each other just out of frustration and built-in anger. And then I've watched the elders walk around in those same prison yards full of knowledge, never getting out, never having an out date, never returning back to their families. And those are the brothers that I studied under and studied with, trying to turn myself into a cup that they could pour their knowledge and their wisdom into. Learning those truths, understanding the pitfalls and why we're so self-destructive as a people, and reading materials, reading occult science, which is the hidden meaning behind things, and the hidden meaning behind the metaphors and allegories that we read in scriptures. So I can understand what things mean and what things appear to be, for everything is not what they seem. This is occult science. Walking these yards, I started to grow and draw parallels of the yard in comparison to society. Whereas when you're incarcerated, you're locked up, and you see the warden and you see the officers, and you say, man, I just want to get free. And then you see the parallels of when you got there, when you were robbing, stealing, selling dope, killing, doing all these different things to get $1 so that you could buy things to never seriously be happy, never seriously be content. And you're doing these self-destructive things, and they've become a normal to you, where abnormal things have become normal and normal things have become abnormal. The same as in the institutional environment took place outside in the free world environment, where selling drugs and annihilating ourselves through self-genocide had become the new norm. Not understanding that it was a trap. It's not sometimes until you get in the trap that you realize you were in the trap the whole time. Whereas the parallels continued to be drawn while I was incarcerated, and I could see that we're thinking we're free because we're free to do everything that does not serve as a threat to the powers that be. Anything under the sun that derives from self-destructive activities, behavior, and thinking patterns, you're free to do, but you're not free to practice unity. You're not free to practice positive interchange with the brother and the sister next to you, to where it will cause us to rise up and become one. Anything in those lines serves as a threat, you find out how free you're not. I wanted to share those things with you, brothers and sisters, because it's time for unity to come into effect. I share a majority of the time on this podcast channel to bring light to the deception that has brought forth madness within ourselves because we don't know any other way. Those who strive in the dark know not the light because they don't possess the light. When you possess the light, then you'll understand that darkness is what has kept you from being truly happy, which has kept you from truly having a peace of mind. But we must study to show ourselves approved. But this is not going on with these churches. These different people appointed positions to lead our people are not worthy of the positions that they are in. For they are only taught what our common foe has taught them to distribute to the masses, where we're all misled and we're all at the end of our ropes into being slaughtered sheep, into being cattle. We have to reach back, and we have to invest when we reach back into ourselves and buy books that are outside the paradigm of what's being served as a resource, what's being given to us as a vehicle to be educated with. We need to get books on pre-dynastic periods before America, before these Eastern countries were brought into place. We need to understand who we were before we got here, and we need to research Asar, Aset, and Hero. We need to research the Valley of Kings in Egypt. We need to understand what ancient Kemet is, which was predated before Egypt got its name Egypt. For a lot of times when we try to research ourselves and we get into Egypt, we're still in the European diaspora of understanding. And we're seeing idols and photos and images of Europeans posing to be us in our place. Let us research ancient Kemet. Let us research the various regions of Africa and understand who we are and understand where we come from so that we can evolve out of this nonsense and stop becoming those wolves licking until we commit suicide, shedding our own blood. Until next time, I'll see you here on Resurrected Rose Petals. Peace.